this is Conrad, Lilac Insurance Group. One of the most common questions I get asked is whether or not your car insurance covers you while you're in a rental car. So I thought I'd explain it briefly how that works, and hopefully this helps someone. So bottom line is, when you rent a vehicle or you're in a temporary or substitute vehicle, most policies are written to a way that they do provide coverage for that vehicle and you while you're driving that vehicle, if it's truly a temporary or substitute vehicle. So I say that because yes, your policy will cover you while you're in a rental car. However, if that is going to be something that's longer than 30 days, they typically don't look at that anymore as a substitute vehicle. So if you're going to be renting a car for a month or two, you'll want to talk to your agent or your carrier, because you may need to add the car or do something else to, make sure there's no coverage gaps. But bottom line is, yes, your policy will cover you in a rental car. It doesn't particularly matter where you rent it from, whether that's Turo, Hertz, Enterprise, wherever it may be, or even some U-Hauls. In fact, your personal auto policy will extend coverage to that vehicle on a temporary basis. So a couple of things to take into consideration when you decide how to answer when they inevitably ask you, do you want to purchase our insurance? So for the most part, the rental car agency insurance is somewhere around $20 to $30 a day. So I usually suggest to people, if you're just going to be in the rental for a couple days, I would go ahead and just purchase that. The reason being is, when you rely on your policy, you also will have the same deductible that's on your policy. So whether that's $500 or $1,000, you would have that deductible if you brought a rental vehicle back damaged. Typically, the rental car agencies also want you to pay that deductible up front. So that can be a pretty big expense. So when you purchase their insurance, you generally don't have a deductible. And then you also prevent a possible claim from showing up on your personal claims history report. So, and that's something definitely to consider when you think about how a claim might impact future rates. When you're driving a rental car, maybe you're not quite used to it. Maybe you're in an area you're not really familiar with. And I went to Florida. People drive different in Florida. I just went ahead and purchased the insurance because I just didn't want to have any hassle if I was in an accident. Now, if you're going to be renting a car for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, that's a little different. If you're renting a car for, let's say, 2 weeks, and the insurance waiver with Enterprise, for example, is $30 a day, you're up over $400 in insurance costs, when you could just rely on your own policy and maybe your deductible is $500, and it's almost kind of a break-even point, and you save a little bit of money on a longer trip. So I guess bottom line is, I would suggest, I typically do suggest, if you're going to be in it for a rental car for a couple days, go ahead and just buy their insurance. But if it's something more longer than 2 or 3 days, maybe a week or two, you might consider just relying on your policy. Of course, check with your agent. All policies are, slightly different. For the most part, they're standardized, but there is some differences depending on the state you're in. So check with your agent or your carrier. Just explain what you're doing, and they'll help guide you in the right direction. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please leave a comment or reach out to us. Thank you.